Greetings, hello, my name is Thomas Fougere. I went to school for journalism. Wasn't quite satisfied. Once I got into the industry, I realized a lot of it was BS. So I went off on my own and started a company, Community TV, and I report and investigate independent journalism is valuable because if we allow everything to be run by big corporations, we'll have nothing but bottled water, candy bars, and the news will reflect that. It'll be bottled news and candy news, and that's not necessarily what people need to make good decisions. As soon as I started getting into more political stuff or things that were related to, maybe the people in authority in the city and maybe asking questions that people don't generally ask of those authorities. There are certain things people can do if they don't like the story to basically have that story suppressed. Slap suits and lawsuits that are made specifically to quash that public record. Like if you have a video of a politician, doctor, police officer, somebody in authority doing something terrible and you put it on the internet and then they sue you to get that video taken down, you might need $50,000 to make sure that you maintain that public record. So sometimes you have to be very creative in the ways that you not only defend yourself, but raise money to, continue telling stories. If you're independent, is it going to be worth the fight yourself? Are you going to put up your own money and say, I'm taking this to court, I'm going to try and win? I'm called a shit disturber, I stir the pot, there's a lot of local colloquialisms for like what they call somebody like me, and I wear those as badges of honor. Like Hunter Thompson coined the term gonzo journalism, and he sort of described it as like, inserting yourself into the story to a level that's beyond where journalism typically does. And that's, I guess, something that I practiced, and I've always seen him as a very sort of interesting storyteller. And I see a lot of value in being right there in the place doing the thing. I've always said that it's keeping the public record. What is a public record? Like, just so people know what's going on in reality, they know what people said, they know what people did. For instance, when it comes to the government, knowing how they came to decisions, knowing what processes are like, and recording those and letting the people, everybody, have access to as much information as they can so that they can make better decisions about how they live. There's a lot of things that are important about public records, like that it is a story, and sometimes stories have conclusions. Not all the time, at least maybe not right at the moment. When you really empathize with the person that you're interviewing and actually try to understand what they're saying, you can sometimes open up doors that weren't there before. So I feel like there's a lot of different kinds of journalism, and sometimes journalism is like, I need to get back with my story that's a little tiny slice of information with a quote from this person, that person, and this person, and I'll write it the way that I want to write it, and the story will be what I thought of. But in reality, the stories that you encounter as a journalist, you don't think of them. Like, they are occurring in somebody else's life and somebody else's reality, and understanding them the best way you can is the best way to get people to give you the information to create those stories. Random things happen. You never know what's going to happen when. You just go out for a little drive around with your friend to like talk about journalism, and then you happen to spot the guy that's suspected of allegedly kidnapping a woman and has been questioned in 3 homicides, and you just see his van pull out, and you say to yourself, we'll follow that van. If I weren't taking any direction from the public, what I personally enjoy is crime stuff. I like the macabre. So what most people, I think, remember me from is like the story that was the alleged sexual harassment of the kids working at the Monarch Theater, and then the delving into the CCDA, who was supposed to handle that.
Hey folks, boiling down a complex issue in municipal politics sometimes isn't the easiest thing, but I'm going to give it my very best shot.
Asking questions of all these board members and being treated. I was ostracized completely during this process.
Yeah, fucking joke.
Yeah, I'm a fucking joke. Is that what I am?
I said you're a joke.
No, you said fucking.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not a fucking joke.
Okay.
But then, later on, the CCDA dissolves, and then, one of the main focuses of the cry bullies that were in that group is convicted of having CP on his computers and stuff.
Who did you guys call? You guys call Kara Securities? You got Mott's on the job? Or Matt? No, Bob Tetz. That's his name. Bob Tetz. That's who you hired for the third-party investigator? Is that who you hired for the third-party investigator? Bob Tetz at Kara Security.
So it's I guess a story that spanned quite a bit of time and had a lot of aspects that were very interesting to a lot of different people. So that particular one, I think, is where most people come up to me and say, hey, I remember from that. But yeah, when it all comes down to it, it's just a whole bunch of different vibrations. Everything is just vibrations, and your job is to record those vibrations, audio, video, collect the protons bouncing off of me and make them look however you think they should. But yeah, when it all comes down to it, it's just a whole bunch of different vibrations. And that's like an interesting way of looking at this kind of art.
Thank you for the entertainment, Tommy. You're what's the word? You're better than Rebel TV. You're better than Ezra Levant. You're better than, well, not better than Michael Torrance, because I'm not exactly sure who he is. But you're fun. You're exciting. You are exactly who you want to be when you grow up.
Thank you.